All right, I hope everyone can hear me okay. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. This is Dwayne Golden, and tonight's webinar is special for me. But before we begin, I need to make sure you can hear me okay. You cannot hear me or see me? No one? Try again. Hello. You can see me all right. Just go ahead and type in the number 2. You can't see or hear. Okay, stay there. I'm going to have to actually close it out and come back. So hang tight, okay? Oh, you can now? You can hear me now? Oh, good. I almost left. All right. A few things I wanted to do tonight is I'm waiting for the rest of the crew. Give me just a moment. Someone says no, no. I don't know what that means. So let's do this. V-merge. Cool. All set to go. Wow, fantastic. Good to hear. A couple things I wanted to do. You guys, I know you're from different places around the world, and but the one thing we all have in common is this desire to actually live our life, and when it's over, to have something that can go on even in our absence. As we know, there are people who are able to do that successfully. There are many who have come on before us. You could think of the Abigail Adamses of the world, the Harriet Tubmans, Winston Churchills, Gandhi, Dr. Martin Luther King, which today in the United States, we celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday. There are so many champions who have gone on before us. But if you think of it like this, billions have come and gone, but we only remember a handful. And what I love about this life is that we all have an opportunity to more than just exist, but we have a choice to live. Charles, how you doing tonight, man? Good to see you.
Oh, it's good to see you too. How you doing?
Hey, what's in that cup, man?
You know what it is.
Yeah, what is it? I want to hear it. What's in that cup?
This is not the Juan Valdez.
Okay, that's Starbucks.
This is Starbucks, right?
Okay, all right. He's switching.
Not the special.
Okay, Dwayne, what's in the cup, man?
Agua, man. Nothing but H2O here. What's up, guys?
Hey, not much, man. You know, I was just talking to these guys. Just as we get ready to kick off, I want to do a couple of things. As you know, it's a sad shame. I remember when I was younger, the thought of getting on an airplane used to freak me out, scare me. Anything that had the risk of death, which seemed to be more open or public, would scare me. But it wasn't until I decided to live this life instead of living in fears, instead of just existing for entertainment. It wasn't until then that those fears don't haunt. For a while, Charles, since you're at least 10 or 15 years younger than me, for a while I thought it was youth being young. I thought it was just when you're young you're so afraid of dying, and I didn't realize, man, it really has a lot to do with not making that choice to live while you're here and squeeze the most out of it while you can. So bottom line is this. A couple of things we're going to do tonight. I'm going to share with you 4 key principles that you can use to motivate yourself to live, to go all in. If any of you have ever played cards or Texas Hold'em, Dwayne, you can go all in. We're talking about this thing of all in. I know everybody wants you to think that it's this thing you don't have yet. We talk about that almost every week. We tell you guys, trust me, the answer is coming from within you. Now it's time for the rubber to meet the road. I'm going to tell you guys something, and I want you to take this the right way. I know myself. I'm fortunate if I can find one person in an entire year who goes all out for what they believe in and what they want. All year long, I find and run into people, right, who they can say that's what they want, but their actions are different. What I'm going to talk to you about tonight is how you can go all in and play full out so you can be successful, and then, of course, not need someone to motivate you or need someone to come rescue you. You can get there. How many of you will admit, even for you, it's tough to find someone who goes all out for what it is that they say that they desire or believe in? Type in number 3. Charles and Dwayne, I know you guys, you see the same thing.
Absolutely.
You guys witness it when you're dealing with your own subscribers individually or people needing assistance. It's rare. And you know what I do when I find people like that, Dwayne and Charles? I pull them in for my team. We only want people that go all out. It's not coincidental that Charles and Dwayne are here or that I'm here. They wouldn't want to work with me, and I wouldn't want to work with them if they didn't give everything they got. But I want you to know tonight, instead of expecting that from other people, you must first find it in yourself. And I'm going to give you 4 keys to doing that. But before I do it, Dwayne Jr., you know, man, I know you know, the struggles we've had over the years when it comes to finding someone who would be a good fit for the team so we can create something that can be a part of the legacy long after we're gone. Talk about it for a sec.
Yeah, man. You know, it's just not a very common thing. You know, a lot of people talk, but it's another thing to actually put stuff into action and always be, you know, taking care of stuff. Another thing is to talk about what you'd like to do. Another thing is just doing it. So, you know, when you come across these type of people, you want to definitely connect with them and find out how you can work together.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you know, Charles, go to all the seminars you can possibly go to. When any of us go to seminars and stuff like that, we run into tons of people. Everyone wants to shake hands and share business cards, right? But only, trust me, it's probably 1 to 3% of any population of people that really will go all in. And what have you experienced? Similar things?
Yeah, it's pretty much just that way. Yeah, it's very, very few.
Yeah, it's very, very few. Not just for us, but we know you're seeing the same thing as we see you've actually stated here. So here we go. Why don't we say this for a moment? You know, before I go in, I want you to think about the past. Think about Napoleon. Think about even Napoleon Hill, if you will. Abigail Adams. Abe Lincoln, Dr. Martin Luther King, whose birthday we celebrate in the United States today. Gandhi. So many others who have given their lives to things that were so much more important than themselves. So that when they are gone, we could still be talking about them. Helen Keller, who didn't have her eyesight, didn't have her hearing. How many people who took whatever they had, right? Instead of dwelling on, no one helps me. How will I learn it? I'm new. No, they just gave what they had with what limitations they had. Dr. Martin Luther King, in a world that wasn't even friendly, right? In his time, in his lifetime, the world was very unfriendly because of the color of his skin. But yet he didn't care. He didn't use it as an excuse. As some of us nowadays, 40 years later, are using that as an excuse. I'm here to tell you, you can go all in, but you better look at the past as I go through these. I want you to think about that. How could a Harriet Tubman, in a time when people were lynched and hung from trees and shot to death, free so many people? If caught, she would have been killed. How did she do it? How did any of these people who from the past have lived their life and already dead, we're still talking about their success? How could it possibly happen, and what chance do we have? Trust me, there is a connection with your internet marketing or your offline business. There is a connection. I'm going to share it with you in just a moment. I was going to use slides, but as Dwayne and Charles, well, I think it may have been Dwayne or Charles, they've made it clear to me. I just break the monotony. We're going to talk for just a moment. We're going to talk to each other. So let's do that. As we do, I want you to think right now, about these keys I'm going to share with you. So, keys are important. The first key in motivating yourself in 2016 so you can be successful, even when you can't pay the bills, you're unhealthy and have a diagnosis, when you have to be alone because there's no one else in your camp but you. No matter what your story is, how you can do it, right? How does this happen? How could you be motivated to keep going when there's no money left in the till? How can I keep going when no one seems to be there to assist me? How could I do it? First thing is you got to play full out. When you play full out, I want you to understand this. There's no time to dwell on what's wrong and what you don't have, or problems, concerns, and all the negativity that you could muster up. Even though if you're from the West, that's the culture you grew up in. Now, As I say that, think clearly. Stay with me for a minute. I cannot go all full out if I must live in my obstacles. If I have to lead with my obstacles. I can't lead with my obstacles. As you know, many of you, because I know some of my subscribers are going through a greater challenge than I am, I cannot lead with the obstacle that I don't want to be here because I don't feel good. You don't want to hear that. You've got your own problems. You have your own not feel good. Some of you are battling the flu. Others of you are battling financial and relational issues. But when you play full out, you don't look at those things. You look at what you want. So as we do that, I want you to note, as you play full out, there are some things you can do to really bring this thing around. And one of them is you got to keep moving. And you can't keep moving if, in fact, you're going to stop to look at your wounds and see how bad you're doing. Can't do it. You can't do it. You got to choose one or the other. Whatever life I have left, I'm going to live it to reach those goals and give it all I have. I will play full out. When others are entertaining and having fun and looking like big shots, I'm going to go all out for what I believe in. It's necessary. You better believe it would be nice to be out visiting my relatives right now, or lying in bed, or doing something else. But what I consider playing full out is giving my best to you. Dwayne and Charles want to give their best to you. If you want to be successful in 2016, it's going to begin by playing full out. You do that by keeping it moving. And when you keep it moving, stop looking at how bad things are and look at where you're headed. Dwayne and Charles, people don't realize you get what you focus on. Scary to me. We focus on so much negativity. We'll focus for 2 or 3 hours on Facebook. We'll focus another 2 or 3 hours on the latest show. We'll focus another 2 or 3 hours complaining to our friends and our colleagues about what's not right. And we spend 20 minutes trying to understand an autoresponder. 20 minutes trying to understand something, then we give up. We don't go all out because we've stopped. We didn't keep moving. I'm here to say keep it moving. You don't become a great... I know you probably think that you just can magically become a great salesperson without giving yourself. You can't. And you're not making money if you're not selling, unfortunately. I mean, unless you're working for someone, you're not going to be able to do it. Well, you want to be a great salesperson, right? I know the world wants you to think it's about driving a huge Mercedes-Benz or Maserati, or having billboards up with your big picture on it, or even your business card with a big picture on it. It's not true. That's what you do when you want it to look like you have it going on. When you really have it going on, you don't get caught up in it. You're moving so much, you don't have time to check the press clippings. You don't have time to take a look and see what everybody thinks because you're keeping it moving, so keep it moving. Let's keep moving. Now, I'm not going to be answering such questions right now, guys, so just so you know. We're here to help. We're keeping it moving. We're not going to stop for that. But thank you for the comments. Now, Charles and Dwayne, here's a question. It's reality. If I'm going to play it full out and I can't stop to look at all the problems, I got to keep it moving, right? My question is, oh my goodness, how can I keep it moving if I don't know the target, if I don't have a target? The reason we can keep it moving is because we're constantly moving towards a goal, moving towards a target. For my friends who are heavy in mathematics, we call that an asymptote. You can never really arrive, but you can always get closer. For my football fans, right, this asymptote works for you. If, in fact, there's a penalty near the goal line, you can go half the distance to the goal, but you'll never cross. What this thing is, none of us are going to be perfect. You're going to see success. Maybe you're going to feel like you've arrived when you made $1,000. Maybe you're going to feel like you've arrived when you made $100,000. You're never going to arrive to the perfect place, but you can get closer, and you can't get closer if you don't have a target. Now, as we look at the target, I want you to get this. Targets are things that require specific location, specific place. And in those specifics, imagine throwing in a dartboard that isn't there. There's nothing to throw. You're just throwing it in the air. You're saying, I'm just throwing an imaginary dartboard. Well, you're gonna get a bullseye every time, right? Which is a whole lot of nothing. When it comes to this thing of your business, you need to set goals, and those goals should be specific. You can't keep it moving without one. You got to have one. For some of you, it's to crest and make that first $5,000 a month in your current business without wavering. Well, for goodness sakes, keep it moving. Don't stop and slow down and keep jumping on every bandwagon that comes down the pike. Keep moving towards the goal. Stop looking at your wounds. Stop complaining about how bad it is, because everybody's having a tough time. Someone here tonight is going or just finishing a divorce. Someone else is going through and just finished foreclosure. Some others are dealing with cancerous and other related diagnoses. You're not the only person having it tough. So the idea is, what can I do with what I have? I'll keep it moving, first of all, so I can play it full out. Second of all, because I've got a target in front of me, set your target. What is that target? To master what it means to run advertising. I was just talking to Charles and Dwayne both about this today. We're in the cave. We're digging deep so we can bring more solutions to you, for starters. Anything we don't know, we go full out and we beat our heads against the wall so that we can learn more about it. We work to master whatever. We set a goal, and then we start moving towards that. We start moving towards that goal. So here we go. We'll play full out. That's the first key. I don't want to hang there too long because I don't want to make my people here tonight, they usually like to give quotes and all that stuff. I don't want to upset you because you need more stuff to give quotes to and coach people during the webinar. Here's one. Charles and Dwayne. A few years ago, what's his name? Tim McGraw came up with a song called Live Like You Were Dying, right? Or My Next 30 Years. They're two different songs. And those songs are about living your life, getting the most out of it. We shouldn't need an inspiration to tell us that. If you don't believe me, look back over the last 5 years and look at how fast they're gone. Look at the last 10 years. It seemed like only yesterday, right? It seemed like only yesterday George Bush was going into office, for those in America. Time flies so fast, you've got to get the most out of it. Let me tell you something, to play full out, you've got to stop pretending you're going to be here forever, by partying 4 days a week, watching TV the other 3, and not having enough for your business, and then complaining to someone that their thing doesn't work. I probably said that too fast. This life is not promised to any of us. I'll tell you, after 48, probably 50 procedures and surgeries thus far in this 51-year life, and seeing so many people around me, friends and relatives, all of you have been to funerals. We have our own reminders. My reminders are in zippers that I have to see, and scars on my body from in my chest, my legs, and all these different scars. I got reminders. But you do too. None of us are exempt. It's real. Some of us have had the misfortune of saying goodbye to youngsters who've gone on. For our spouses or parents, we've seen it all in different ways. How dare you take this life for granted and think that you could really have motivation and success in the same year when all you do is focus on the problems and yourself? I got news for you. It's very selfish not to play full out. It's very selfish to really just exist. Wake up to see what everybody else is doing and not already have something in mind. That's very selfish. Oh, there we go. We got some of our quoters. We got some of our peeps on here. Now, let me tell you something. I want you to get this. You have an opportunity to have a different year. Now, many of you don't know this, but God allows it to rain on the just and the unjust. So it doesn't matter if you believe or don't believe, right? So if you guys, like I said, you guys love to come in and do your quotes. And I'm going to tell you this again. Get your own webinar and do it there. I don't mind if you say stuff back and forth, but I don't want to distract people. I want you guys to get this. You can take something and run with it or stay where you are. You're not the only person with challenges, so let's keep it moving. I think it's important to say that we got this first key down. Play full out, give it all you got. When you're tired, when you're febrile, Michael Jordan played ball. Everybody talks about it when he had 102 or so fever. So many people who've gone on when injured. There are motivational speakers out there. Some of them are even my friend. One young lady, Miss Williams, who has no arms and goes around the world talking to people and helping them and building her brain up. We've got so many people with so many things that you would consider a limitation, but compared to you, it's not a limitation because they're getting the most out of it. They're playing full out. You should do it too. if you'd love to see a return, so long after you're gone, something else can exist and go on. I'll move on because we gotta keep. I don't want to be here all night, and I know you don't either. Now, key number 1: play full out. I gave you some supporting things you can do to do that. Second one, you'll want to record. It's interesting to me, Dwayne and Charles, how we'll dive into something, but we ignore the things that can help make us better. You can't sweep under the rug the failures. The failures are a part of it. As John Maxwell says, it's failing forward. You know, as in the book of Proverbs, you'll learn a righteous man will fall 7 times and get up again. There's so many things that point towards looking at where you've come from. For me, it may have been bad campaigns, failure product. It may be working with the wrong type of client. I don't know. I've got to record it, though. You guys have to do better at recording. It's sad to me. We'll share so many Facebook and Instagram posts and pictures and videos, but we won't record our own things so we can find our way to our target quicker and more proficiently. It saddens me. I'm amazed at the funny video of the puppy that falls into the water and swims to the side will get more shares or more recording from you than your own success or failure. So by the way, number 2 is of course record, and the first point under that is good and bad. Record it. Know it. I could just mention a product's name, right? And whether it's a failure or a success that we've done in the past, Dwayne or Charles would laugh. Right? I could do that because we can't hide from it. We have to learn from the experience. And when you record, you don't just record good and bad. You also record patterns and trends, things that work. It's amazing how many people want to just reinvent the new wheel every day. New things. Shocking. It doesn't matter if you're launching, promoting, or whatever you're doing, multi-level marketing, direct sales, it doesn't have to go that way. Me personally, I don't believe in operating without a true north and principles. As a believer, I personally use the Bible for those things. I'm not going to follow any specific guru over if they're going to cross those lines, but at the same time, I don't have to wear it on my sleeve because the principles that God placed here are not just for believers, they're for anybody. They work for anybody, so I'm not going to get caught up in that. What I'm going to get caught up in is the fact that you can record what's going on with your life and learn from it, good and bad, both. Dwayne and Charles, the most common mistake I see amongst today's entrepreneurs is not owning their own crap. If you confront them, they go, well, someone says that I messed up. Men and women can't own it. Blaming everybody. It must be PayPal's fault. It must be so-and-so, not owning your own junk. I'm going to tell you something. You want to have success and not need to have someone pat you in the back and motivate you? Record the good, bad, and the ugly, but certainly record patterns and trends and even the relationships. You don't have to burn bridges. I'm not going to, because I'm trying to move on quickly and I don't mean to rush too much, but the number of people that burn bridges in relationships because they're not recording it. You have a good relationship with someone who you might have sold for and they done right by you and you forget them from that day forward, you've messed up. You may have a subscriber. You may have someone in your life who may be a good or a bad relationship. Follow it. Look and see what's going on with it so you can make better decisions and make it better the next time. You want to motivate yourself in 2016 for an amazing year without blaming anyone or looking to someone else other than the one in the mirror or God himself? Well, you need to play full out, and you also need to record. Not rocket science. Just truth. Now, as I move forward, I want you to recognize this. Failure is not a negative thing, my friend, whoever is saying that about there are no failures. Yeah, sometimes you work at them and they don't work. That's a failure. But that doesn't mean that it's a loss or that it's stupid. It just means that it's something to acknowledge. And it can be used for a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. But take a look as we move forward. Patterns and trends, right? Now, check this out. The third item or key that we're going to use for playing full out, it's apply all you can. I can't stand it. Dwayne and Charles. I can't stand it for someone or for people to hear and become a professional listener and reader, but no application. If you have to ask me 4 times a year, oh yeah, how do I do that again? You're wasting my time. Because I didn't have that luxury. I had to go in and figure it out and make mistakes and keep working with it. I had to learn. You tell me, I've got to learn it. I can't depend on you every week. Some of you guys, you need to stop. Instead of logging in every day and working with what you have, you wait until something's coming out, and then you try to use it, and you have to keep going and ask the same question every month or every other month. Shouldn't be. Why not learn it? You're not going to, no wonder you're not motivated and you feel like things aren't working out. You're not moving. You're certainly only recording the negative things, and you're applying so little that you don't really realize that you're making any progress. The reason for applying is when you know the truth will make you free for more so you can do those things. But if you know the truth and don't apply, you're not knowing. Trust it. Listen to this. Knowing something isn't wisdom, right? You may have the knowledge of something, but it's not wisdom until you apply it, till you know what to do with it. You guys have got to do better. Trust me. You name any guru down the pike. No one can do as much for you as you can. When you start applying, that's when you get the guru. You apply yourself, when you bring yourself to the table. Trust me. That's when it happens. I think of many things, but this idea of application is when the money started rolling for us. We weren't really making money when we were talking about it. When all we did was surf the net and look at stuff and watch and listen to the recordings. That wasn't enough. It wasn't until we began to apply to the income started building up. Now, a couple things as we're going to get to the last key here. A couple things. We're not even keeping you long. A couple things I want you to recognize. You might have to mute your mic.
Oh, sorry about that. I didn't realize how loud it was.
It's okay. A couple things I want you to recognize here tonight. By the way, Terry says George says apply the 40-70 rule. I say the 20-40-60 rule is good too. The 20-40-60 rule is when you're 20, you think everyone's thinking about you, so you're really not sure when to make a move. When you're 40, of course, you do things even though, no matter what people are thinking about you. When you're 60, you realize no one was ever thinking about you in the first place, and you lost a lot of time. So, I don't know why I said that, but I had to get that out. When it comes to applying things, you have to understand there's going to be challenges. Sometimes it means not going to sleep when everyone else is. This was the toughest thing for me. I learned this early on when I was in ministry, learning to work while others are playing and sleeping and partying, learning to work when most of the world was not willing to. It gave me an edge. It made me prepared. So if you're going to apply things, the first thing you got to know is it's not going to be convenient. It's just not. The second thing you want to know is that you're probably going to lose friends and gain others and gain friends. You might lose some people in your life and gain some friends when you do this. Because going ahead and applying what you're learning, what you put you in a different category where some will think that you think now all of a sudden you're smart or you're a guru. Right? Because you don't have time to waste with me anymore. When I send you those Facebook videos, joke of the day, you don't even open those. Your friends will begin to drop because you have time for the right things. You apply the principles and begin to use them, and you attract new people into your life, and there's nothing better than this, because here's what you should know. Your income goes up when you do this. You don't have to tell any of us what your income is. All you need to know is, we'll know. Just let us know who your 5 closest friends are. Your income is plus or minus about a few $100s of those guys, a few $1,000s a year of those people. Apply. That'll be a huge pivoting point for you and your family. Now, as you play full out and go all in and follow steps we're talking about, and then of course you keep it moving. when you're tired, when your arm hurts, when your leg hurts, when you have a fever, when things aren't, you keep it moving. Then you record, you capture. You know, when we launch a product or we begin to promote something, you know what we do first? We go and look at what we did in the past, whether it's good or bad, whether it worked or not. We have to look at it to see what we learned and what we can do this time to learn from that. Recording's necessary. It's essential. Without recording, we wouldn't even have a calendar, right? We wouldn't know about dates. Without recording, we wouldn't know what to expect this time of year with the weather. We wouldn't understand without recording what to expect from children when they're born as you're raising them. We wouldn't know what to expect from different diseases because we didn't track it. Tracking is essential. You want to be great. You want things to happen after you're gone. You've got to do better and live this life. Let me tell you something. The only people kicking and screaming when it's time to die are those who refuse to live. And if all you're doing is existing, you're not living. You're probably scared to death if something happens and your life is threatened. Truth. You really want it to mean something? Go all in. Think about it. How young were some of these people when they died? From President Kennedy to Dr. King. How young was Abe Lincoln? How young are a lot of these people when it's time for them to say goodbye? And now Helen Keller. How young were any of these folks? Fanny Crosby. How young? Blind. And wrote most of the songs and hymn books. I mean, how do we learn to succeed in spite of our limitations? One of them is you live. You live. It turns my stomach to watch so many of you playing hard before you go hard. You play hard. When fun is there, you're there in the middle. If there's something being passed around like a virus on Facebook, you're in the middle getting it and sharing it. But you're not doing anything. Do it. Your spouse deserves it. Your children deserve it. For God's sakes, start doing something. Live. Don't just exist. I don't care what someone tells you. You're not an animal. Animals don't have the choices or the ability to communicate that you have. They don't have the many different parallels of which they can live this life. Do something. You really think it's about not making money? Charles and Dwayne, I don't think anybody told them. Money's the byproduct of what you're becoming and what you're doing. Money's not what it's about. Money's only a byproduct. Now, I sound intense. I sound intense because the clock's ticking. We're approaching the end of January already, and some of you haven't even started moving, let alone keep moving. This cry should not be going on in June and July, but it looks like it's headed that way if some of you don't get moving. You have to. Opportunities don't always come. They come and they go, but they're like a ferry boat. They're easy to get a hold of when they're right in front of you. But once they're up the path, they're almost impossible to catch up with. For goodness sakes, understand tomorrow is not promised. Some people around this world will not wake up. Some won't even be able to go to sleep because they'll die before that. If you get it, you'll take this life more serious, and you will play full out. You will keep it moving. You record and you apply what you learn. Then, that's when you play. That's when you play. I don't understand it. You can't say no to a birthday party, but you're 2 months behind in your mortgage. You can't say no to all the fun and the things that don't pay you and won't take care of your wife, your spouse, and your children, but you have to say yes to everything else. That is not it. You don't need a guru. You don't need a new autoresponder. You need to check yourself before you wreck yourself, because you can do it. Everyone here, now let's leave on a positive note. If you're ready for us to leave on a positive note, type in the number 5. We have to. We have to. Not just leave on a positive note. We better start doing things differently. We have to. As I say that to you, would you get this? If you haven't caught on to something in every one of our webinars, we don't talk about the things you can't do. There's plenty of things we can address. Charles and Dwayne, you would admit it. There's plenty of things we can do, talk about, that you're not even capable yet because you're not at that level. Right? Charles, what do you think?
Yeah, on the technical end, that's definitely the case.
Oh, technical and practical. You know, it's something about giving a baby meat before you're giving him milk. You guys are getting this. You have to graduate so we can graduate. There's stuff that some of you guys wouldn't even qualify to learn because you're not there yet. You have to get to that point. Dwayne Jr., you know what I'm talking about too. I mean,
No question about it.
we got to move from this position. We got to move from this position because life's tricky. You know what, Charles? I was looking at some pictures yesterday, and I didn't have silver in my face or my hair or my eyelashes. And I actually had a hairline like you. I was looking at a picture of your two daughters who are both grown-ups now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if I went into this, but people here got to understand. You will blink, and you have a choice to say what God I had, which means basically I wish I would have, or you could just get her done in 16. Instead of promising your family every year you're going to do it this year, the year. So keep your inboxes open. You'll have opportunities to work with any of us or all of us. Whether it's in one of our launches, some of our private things, some of the individual trainings that either Charles or Dwayne Jr. and I will do, whatever we're doing, you'll have an opportunity, but you've got to step into it and stop expecting things to happen to you, and you've got to start happening to this industry. It's waiting for you. There are things that you can do that none of the three of us will be able to ever do.
That's right.
There are things that you guys can do that not even Frank Kern, Mike Philsane, none of those guys will ever be able to do. You've got to bring it.
Right.
Bring it. Goodness sakes. Now that we've said that, it would be very rude and remiss to let you know that we love the opportunity to work and serve each of you. Some of you, if you're part of our Facebook, you probably saw my post about serving. Everyone can be great. You know, it's one of Dr. Martin Luther King's quotes. But it's all over the history. It's all over the Bible. It's all of, hey, you really want to be great at something, learn to serve people. And if you're stopping, licking your wounds and crying about your problems, you're serving no one but yourself. But you're not the only person with problems. You're not the only person who is alone right now. You're not the only person who's behind in their bills and struggling. So you have to do this. You have to step up and keep it moving. Don't look at that. Set and look at your goal. For God's sakes, you can do it. We believe in you. We're just extending this night and this concept to you so you can move. And what's beautiful about this, Dwayne and Charles, I know you'll verify it. It doesn't matter if you're 7 foot tall or 4 foot tall. Doesn't matter if you're 20, 18, 92, 102. The principles that God has placed in this earth to work for us, regardless of our disposition, our color, our height, our weight, our gender. Male or female, it's for you. You got to love that. Grandma or not. Teenager or not. It's for you if you apply it. Now that we've said that, we wanted to leave you with something positive. The next time you see me, I will not be dead to my chin. Anyway, before we go, Dwayne and Charles, we did good. We didn't keep them all the full hour, none of that stuff. Charles, any last-minute words before we go? And then, Dwayne, I'm going to ask you.
Yeah, you said it. You said it. It really is. It really is about getting in and doing it, and being consistent at it every day. You know, being consistent at it until something happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. Yeah, you said it. That's right. So, you know, a lot of people, you hear a lot of different things out there about, hey, you're going to be able to earn $1 million in the next day or two. None of that kind of stuff is really possible if you're not putting in, you know, the hours and the time spent. You got to be willing to put in the work. You know, it can't all be talk. In 2016, it's all about that action. So I think that was a great concept you went over today.
So you guys have heard it here. We're not trying to get you in something or started with something that we're not doing already. We just want you to know that, and you can do it. Certainly keep it consistent. You don't just do it. And then that's something I don't have time to talk about now, but a lot of you guys, you have to get a post or an email to get moving. And if you don't get one, you're doing nothing. Some of you have to have someone who introduced you or someone in your camp to call you, tap you on the shoulder. Just get moving. Motivate yourself. Some of us, I put messages and notes in my phone, on my mirror in my bathroom, in my Bible. I put them in my journal. I make notes to myself. I don't want to rely on Dwayne or Charles, although they're very helpful. I don't want to do that. You don't have to either. Before we came to this call, we're so real about it. Dwayne sent me a podcast. You got to listen to it. I listened to it in the shower. I listened to it when I was shaving. And, boy, I loved it. But you know what? I don't want to just hear it, what I learned. I love applying it. So we're going to find out over the next 60 days. One of our things we're going to be bringing to the market has a lot to do with whatever I was going through in the podcast and stuff we've been studying for the past 4 to 6 months. Now, I want you guys to have a great night. I wish you all the best. And certainly, guys, yeah, of course, like David, like Joseph, like Solomon, so many people, but so many in history, period. Of course. You guys have a great night. God bless you all. Make 2006, dare to make it your best ever. Take care.